I think our best podcasts come from questions from our listeners. And we had one just a week or so ago. I'm a little late getting started on this. So I wanted to do a quick hit on this particular topic. One of the ones we spoke about not too long ago, we did a podcast on creatine. But we had a question from a listener about creatine and the teenage athlete. A quick hit today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Good day and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. This is Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us today for this particular podcast. And it's a quick hit, but it's one I wanted to talk about dealing with creatine and the teenage athlete. Now, I'll just let you know how to get in touch with us. If you have any questions dealing with health, fitness, or wellness, you can reach out to us at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That is also our website and our Facebook page. Hit me up on Twitter at TeamPE if you are so inclined. I had a listener contact me about creatine and a teenage athlete. They have athletes involved in several sports, very active, just like we're seeing a lot of teenagers these days. They're going year-round in sports. They're doing two-a-days, heavily involved. And we actually have a podcast coming up dealing with the nutritional needs of a multisport athlete. And I'll probably touch on this again in that podcast, but I wanted to do a quick hit just dealing with creatine because we're getting that question a lot. And I want to give you some background on creatine. I'm not against this particular supplement, but let me tell you a few facts about it and why I do caution anybody as far as using it with a teenage athlete. Now, the big question is, does creatine give you an athletic advantage? Well, creatine users, and this is some studies they've done on this, but creatine users may see a modest 3 to 5% increase in performance. Now, experts consider this it's a very small amount. I mean that's a very small amount that they see in that. I mean, up to a 5% increase. And this is, especially when it's compared to normal growth and development of young athletes, that's very minor. Do keep in mind, though, the studies that have been done on creatine have been done on adults. We don't have any studies done on teenagers in development for that. And because of that, there are some concerns as far as using creatine with a teenage athlete. Now, the reason I'm so concerned about no studies done on teenage athletes on creatine, and keep in mind, we're only looking at a 3 to 5% increase in performance. The reason I'm concerned about that, they have found some adverse effects of using creatine. Again, I'm not against this supplement, but just since there are not any studies that have been done on creatine in teenage use, and it only is a 3 to 5% change, the fact that they have had some adverse side effects should caution you in using that. And the side effects they've had are liver and kidney problems, dehydration, muscle cramps, and what they call compartment syndrome. And this is a problem that prevents blood flow to muscles. Compartment syndrome also, you can have that when you have a hard hit the shin bone and actually have a break there. You can cause lack of circulation of the foot and have like a foot drop, something that athletic trainers look for in injuries quite often. But you can actually have that same compartmental syndrome associated with the use of creatine. For a 3 to 5% possible performance change, possible injuries, possible problems aren't worth that small incremental change. The one that sticks out to me, and you know why it sticks out to me because I'm so big on hydration, when you've got 46% of children, teenagers all, don't drink enough water, not take in enough hydration. Over 72% of adults don't take in enough, and if you're a fan of the podcast, you've heard me say that I think that number is actually a lot higher than 72%. When you already have that problem, then you start adding supplementation of any kind, but especially something like creatine or any kind of medicine or what have you, then you're going to leach even more water out of your system. Now, you take a multisport athlete and you add anything that adds to dehydration. Being a multisport athlete, first thing is going to cause the risk of dehydration. You can keep hydrated and be a multisport athlete or a multi-day training athlete, in other words, doing 2-a-days or long extended workouts. You can stay hydrated, but it's an effort. And it's one that, like I say, 46% of children don't drink enough water or don't take in enough hydration. So we're already at a risk of dehydration. A lot of the problems in performance are caused by dehydration. And instead of looking at or addressing the hydration situation, we start looking at and listening to a lot of advertisements out there and start looking for supplementation to either build strength or increase energy. Another thing about it, back to dehydration and also just having a proper diet in that you've got enough calories going in. This is what we're going to speak about in the multisport athlete podcast that I'm going to do on nutrition. First thing we got to make sure we have enough calories. And the second thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure we have enough protein going in. If we don't have those things going in, adding creatine is just going to do nothing. If it doesn't cause any of these horrible side effects, it's not going to add to your performance whatsoever because you're lacking in either water, enough calories, or enough protein. So what I would do before I even thought about going to any type of supplementation for that matter is let's look at what we're doing. First and foremost, where's our hydration levels? And it's easy to do and check on that. I've got several podcasts on that, and you can contact me, and I can give you even more information on that. But if your athlete has dark urine, what have you, then they're dehydrated, period. And that is going to affect muscle growth. If you're not properly hydrated, you're going to affect muscle growth, which is going to affect performance. And so if you're breaking down muscle tissue in a workout, which I'm certain that you are, if you're having any kind of soreness or getting tired, then you're breaking down muscle tissue. Therefore, you've got to have the proper nutrients and amount of nutrients and hydration in order to build all that back. Adding creatine to that situation is not going to help things. So let's first look at what are we doing. This isn't just my opinion. Both the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American College of Sport Medicine, which is where my certification is through, and also the agency that provides pretty much all the exercise information out there for cardiac rehab clinics, for every single certification out there uses ACSM's information, are in agreement that teenagers should not use performance-enhancing supplements, including creatine. Now, when it comes to performance-enhancing supplements, I do not put protein supplementation in that list personally because I don't feel that is a performance-enhancing supplement. Things like creatine are labeled as performance-enhancing and ones I think should be cautioned. But again, American Academy of Pediatrics and American College of Sport Medicine both caution people in using creatine with teenagers. Best way to approach this? Talk to your teenage athlete about it. Be sure to listen and empathize with their feelings. They're likely under intense pressure to perform, and I get it. They're not keeping up with their peers. They're not keeping up with athletes on the field. They're looking for that edge. I understand the reason for going after something like this, but the answer is somewhere else in the recipe. I bet you money. If they're seeing themselves, they're not able to keep up. They don't see them that they're advancing the way they should. Their energy is running down in practice or whatever. Go back and look. Go back and look at what's the total nutritional intake. First and foremost, look at their hydration. I'm telling you, that is an easy fix, and that is a very, very, very common problem. It's rare that I don't find an athlete that's having performance issues that is hydrated, that is regularly hydrated where they think they are. And many times, on that note, it's not just out in hot weather. I'm not sweating a lot. I happen to be playing basketball and I'm playing in an air-conditioned gym. Could be even a worse situation. Air conditioners are a giant dehumidifier. So look at that one first. Look at what hydration first, then look at calorie intake, then look at protein intake. And to take it a step further, if you want us to check it out, hey, contact us. We'd be more than glad to do an overview of energy expenditure, overview of the workouts they're doing, overview of their nutritional intake without being ugly, without critiquing them or whatever, and help you get a good game plan on making sure that you're hitting all those metrics the right way. I don't think that a teenager's goal is to take in creatine. The teenage athlete goal is to get better in their sport. And if that's the goal, then let's look at it the right way. Let's look at the recipe that's getting us there. If you have any more questions about that, please reach out. And thank you so much, Cami, for that question about this particular subject. I'd be more than glad to speak to your athlete, speak to a parent about trying to decipher where we need to go with this. If you have any questions concerning this particular subject or any others, reach out to me at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also contact me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That's also our website and our Facebook page. Also, reach out to me at Team PE if you're so inclined. This has been a quick hit on creatine and the teenage athlete. Again, I'm not against the supplement. I'm just interested in doing the same thing you are, and that is making your teenager feel better about being themselves, make your teenager a better athlete that's so inclined, because that is all about reaching their level of wellness, which is what we're all about here. Thank you so much for listening today, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.